Welcome back to CyHawkThoughts. I'm Steve Myers, as always, my co-host, Chuck Utek. And as you can see, we've got a special guest today. We've got we've got Nate Blair. Nate Blair is a friend of mine. Fortunately, we were able to get him on for today's show. He's got an interesting story to share. As I'm sure most of you heard, Royce White made his place over to the Orchard place. And Nate, you tell us a little bit about the Orchard place and what your role is there and everything like that.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
No
Orchard
problem.
Place, or as I call it, OP. We're a psychiatric facility for juveniles in the Des Moines area. We house kids from all over the state. At any given time, there's 103 kids on campus, ranging from 10 to 17. Many different mental disorders. My specific job is I'm the director of one of the 5 houses we have on campus. The house that I'm the director of holds 20 kids. I think my oldest right now is actually 18, but my youngest is 11. The story kind of goes, one of my young men has anxiety issues and wrote a letter to Royce. His mom in some way got connections with Iowa State right before the Baylor game, and he was able to give that letter to Royce White and was able to go out on the basketball court, hang out with Royce, shoot some hoops. And between that and then our director of mental health, Dr. Dudney, who most of you probably saw in the news last night, they got him down there. We found out it was about a week before yesterday, and kind of got everything in order, called the press, let them know, and the rest is history.
Very nice,
Awesome.
Very nice. So, what was the how many kids were there? Tell us a little bit about maybe what you did prior. Obviously, on the news we saw all sorts of signs welcoming around.
Wow.
So I take it the kids had a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah. The staff were usually busy with the kids, so they kind of left it to some of the more administrative people. Myself, I gladly volunteered to help out.
As you can see, I'm
Yes.
sure he probably did.
Had a bunch of kids. Crafts are always a big thing for the kids. They made a bunch of signs, hung them up on the walls. Got a DJ involved. Called the press. It really wasn't a real big hard thing to plan, but it was definitely a cool thing for the kids to be a part of and see somebody that was big in the news in Iowa, which we don't have a lot of with no professional teams, but the college is more our professional around here, which is fine for me.
Which is fine for Chuck and I. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Now, I'll remember when I was in 6th grade, I met Jeff Hornacek and Barry Stevens, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine with the kids and having Royce White there. What were they saying before? Everything. I mean, how excited were they? Was there a buzz? Was it?
Yeah, we have our kids that, due to their illnesses or whatnot, they're not quite into sports. A lot of the kids we have on campus aren't quite the athletic type we'd like to think they are. But either way, it's still exciting for the kids to see somebody who they've seen on ESPN or on television, and then you have your kids that are always outside shooting hoops or throwing a football around, and it's like they have somebody to look at and say, okay, they are in my position, or they have the same illness that I have, and they've accomplished all of this, so why can't I? So it's a good kind of give it all you got and you can do anything you want. So
Now, just out of curiosity, with the week adding up and then the day of, we understand that they have illnesses and they're working through it and you're helping them working through it. Did the behavior level kind of get a little more even keel, or just out of curiosity, when they're like, okay, I need to be on my best behavior now. I've got Royce coming in.
It's kind of a give and a take. It's a lot. I compare it a lot to home visits for the kids. With anxiety, a lot of kids think, oh my goodness, I'm going home, stuff's going to change. Schedule and structure are huge for these kids, and so it can cause a lot of anxiety, which then turns into aggression.
Okay.
And other things. We didn't see a huge up in it. I know last night all the kids were pretty amped up after he left, and it was a really quiet night because everybody went to sleep early. But all in all, I think it was no different than usual.
Good. So Royce could really relate to these kids.
Definitely.
Because he's looking at himself, anywhere from 6 to 10 years ago, right?
Definitely, yeah, right about that, yeah.
Okay. And so what kind of, what did he have to say? I mean, obviously we got snippets and everything from last night, but what was the main message? What was said?
Pretty much what I said was, this is what I deal with. I know a lot of you guys deal with something similar. Just because you deal with this doesn't mean you can't amount to something in life. He talked a little bit about the concerns with his game and with his mental health status going pro, and kind of made a joke out of the fact that people thought his stock was going down because he was scared to fly, which is a good thing for these kids because they do take it seriously a lot. And it's nice to see, again, somebody like Royce that can make kind of a joke out of the fact that he's scared to get on an airplane. A big 6'8", 270-pound guy joking about something like mental illness is something pretty cool for those kids to see.
Cool. That's outstanding.
Now, so you said that like afterwards, then they were amped up, and then it was time for bed. They were worn out.
Yep. They got done. Well, he got there probably about 3 o'clock or a little before. Introduced to some of the administrative people and myself and some people that had planned the activity, and then went down and started out by Brock, our CEO, talking a little bit about Royce, and then Royce talked, and then we presented him with a jersey.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. Every I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's a group of guys that plays basketball at Orchard Place, and they're called the Flying Pterodactyls.
Nice.
Dr. Dudney he's been at Orchard Place for 40-some years, and it's kind of something that's stuck over the years. And we presented him with a Flying Pterodactyls jersey. Gave him a plaque saying thank you for coming to Orchard Place, and he only talked for about 5 minutes. I will say, and some of you might have heard me yesterday on the radio sending out my appreciation to Royce. It was really neat to see him sit down and sign autographs for as long as he did. There was one point where he got up because he thought he was done to walk away, and there were some kids that he missed, and they'd come up, and he said, nope, I'm not leaving until everybody's gotten an autograph. So he sat back down and did some more.
That's awesome. And that's what he talked about at his press conference about going pro. It wasn't all about the money, it wasn't all about the fame. It was about, this gives him the opportunity to do what he wants to do, and he kind of showed it last night.
Definitely.
So, no, that's some great stuff. And I see you took advantage of
Yes.
the autograph
Yes,
session
I did.
as well.
I got my Royce White autograph.
Very nice. And I did see you on the news last night, so you
Yep.
got your 4 seconds of fame there.
I will hate to admit this, but I think I was a little bit more excited than some of the other kids. I'm a big kid at heart, so I guess that's okay.
Sounds good. And I know you played basketball back in the day. And you attempted to play basketball back then. No, I'm just kidding. Just from you being around him, talking to him, and everything like that, how would you like it to be? How would you like to be on the defensive end with him coming down full blast down the court?
I wouldn't attempt to take a charge. No, I would not stand there very long.
Yeah,
no.
you'd backpedal.
Yeah, I don't want to be on a poster.
There you go. So obviously we hear about his size and everything like that, but how quick he is. You said yourself that maybe the announcers kind of gave it you were even maybe expecting bigger just because of what they were saying. Still a big dude. Just you even, like you said, you're a kid at heart. You even had this vision of bigger, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think of Royce White, and I think kind of the Jolly Green Giant commercial. Like, he walked in and the first thing I thought was, wow, he's not near as broad as I expected him to be. I mean, he was just cut. But when he shook my hand and his fingers wrapped around my hand and touched his wrist, I said, okay, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Apparently 11 and a half. I mean, I heard it kind of increase throughout the season. First it was 10, then 10 and a half, then 11, then 11 and a half.
And I heard 12.
Okay, so who knows how long his hand actually is, but no, I thought it was just an awesome move on his part. Iowa State University. This is the first time I heard how everything kind of came to be. It was really cool that Iowa State passed on that letter and gave that kid the opportunity to actually shoot around with Royce, in Hilton. So,
definitely.
Big time.
Any last comments that you want to say about the experience or what went on or anything like that?
I guess my main thing about it is, yes, it was very cool for Royce White to come. Dr. Dudney compared it a lot to Magic Johnson with his HIV in the 90s, where it kind of heightened the awareness of it. I think this is a big step for mental health, because it kind of throws it out into the open and educates people on something that, when you're not educated about it, it intimidates you. So if you guys are interested, check Orchard Place out, www.orchardplace.org. Super cool organization. Always looking for volunteers and any kind of help you can provide for us. It's a nonprofit organization.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, definitely look into the Orchard Place if it's something you feel you want to be a part of. By all means, go there and let them know. I'm sure Nate, being a director of one of the houses there and planning this event, would definitely enjoy having the help and the gifts. So
the more the better.
All right, sounds good. And just last thing here, I hear he's not quite done with the Orchard Place in terms of what Royce White
he
has in mind.
It was kind of a common, as we were getting things planned, he talked about how even though he was going pro, he wanted to stay kind of in a long-standing relationship with Orchard Place, and I think he said it more in his announcement of going pro. He wanted to be a professional basketball player, but the word he used was, I think it was philanthropic. So that's a good thing to hear it coming out of somebody his age.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Nate, thanks so much for coming on
and
giving us the full experience that we weren't able to get from a 3 or 4 minute clip from the news. Hopefully you all out there enjoyed it and got to find out a little more about what Royce is capable of. He'll always be a guy that only played 1 year for Iowa State, but I think he'll be in the hearts and souls of the Iowa State fans for years to come.
Time.
And I think even Iowa in general. Yeah. So appreciate it. Now Nate's going to stay on for the rest of the show. He's gonna give his thoughts on some of the conversations we have. But this is segment number 1, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it.